Every night, when your house goes quiet, the TV clicks off, the lights dim, and you finally lie down to rest, something important is happening inside your body. Something most people never think about. While you're sleeping, while your mind is finally at ease, one part of your body may actually be working harder than it did all day. Quietly. Relentlessly. And if it's already under stress, you won't feel pain. You won't hear alarms. There will be no warning signs at all. That part is your kidneys. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people over 55 don't hear often enough. Kidney problems rarely start with pain. They start with silence. A little extra fatigue in the morning. Slight swelling around the ankles. Waking up more often at night. Small changes that are easy to brush off, until a routine blood test shows one number slowly creeping up, creatinine. Many Americans only discover their kidneys are struggling when that number is already too high. Not because they ignored their health, but because the kidneys are incredibly patient organs. They keep working. They keep filtering. They keep compensating. Right up until they can't anymore. But here's the hopeful part, and this is where things change. Science is showing us that the hours you spend sleeping may be one of the most powerful opportunities your kidneys have to recover. And something as simple as what you choose to drink before bed can either make that nightly workload heavier, or gently support your kidneys while you sleep. Tonight, before you turn off the lights, you may have a choice that helps your kidneys work more efficiently, lowers strain on your body, and supports healthier creatinine levels over time, without medications, without extreme changes, and without disrupting your sleep. In this video, I'll walk you through simple, natural bedtime drink choices designed specifically for adults over 55, choices that work quietly in the background, just like your kidneys do. Because when you understand what your body is doing at night, you can finally start helping it, instead of unknowingly making its job harder. Most people imagine serious health problems coming with loud warnings. Sharp pain. Sudden collapse. Something dramatic that forces you to stop and pay attention. But kidney trouble doesn't work that way. It doesn't scream. It whispers. For many adults over 55, the first signs are so subtle they feel almost meaningless. You wake up tired even after a full night's sleep. Your shoes feel a little tighter around the ankles by evening. You notice your skin looks drier than it used to. Maybe you're getting up to use the bathroom more often at night, but you tell yourself, that's just part of getting older. And that's exactly why kidney stress goes unnoticed for so long. I want you to picture this. A 59-year-old woman goes in for her annual checkup. She doesn't feel sick. She hasn't missed work. She's not in pain. But her doctor looks at her lab results and pauses. One number stands out, creatinine. It's higher than last year. Not dangerously high. Not alarming yet. But higher. That number is often the first real sign that the kidneys are struggling to keep up. Creatinine isn't just a lab value. It's a signal. It tells us how efficiently your kidneys are filtering waste from your blood. When it rises slowly over time, it usually means those tiny filters inside your kidneys are under strain. From inflammation, from poor circulation, from blood sugar spikes, or simply from years of doing their job without enough support. The problem is, your body adapts. It compensates. Your kidneys work harder to make up for what they're losing. And because there's no sharp pain, no obvious crisis, life goes on as usual. That's why so many Americans are shocked when they hear the words, early kidney disease, even though the process may have started years earlier. Not because they weren't taking care of themselves, but because no one ever taught them what the early signs actually look like. Here's the key takeaway: by the time kidney problems become obvious, they've usually been there for a long time. But when they're still quiet, when the changes are small, that's when gentle support can make the biggest difference. And this is where the nighttime window becomes so important. Because while your body sleeps, your kidneys don't stop. They shift into a different rhythm, one that can either accelerate stress or allow recovery, depending on how you support them. In the next part, we're going to talk about something most people completely overlook: why the hours before bed matter so much for kidney health, and how a few common nighttime habits may be making creatinine creep up without you realizing it. Most people think of sleep as a shutdown. Your body rests. Your systems slow down. Everything powers off until morning. But biologically, that's not what's happening at all, especially inside your kidneys. When you fall asleep, your body shifts into a different mode. Blood pressure gradually lowers. Stress hormones calm down. Repair signals increase. And your kidneys adjust how they filter blood, balance fluids, and clear waste. It's quieter work, but it's incredibly important work. This is why nighttime matters so much. During the day, your kidneys are constantly reacting, to meals, to movement, to stress, to blood sugar spikes. At night, They finally get a chance to focus on balance and cleanup.
Think of it like a city after dark.
Fewer cars on the road.
Less noise.
More space to repair what was worn down during the day. But here's the part most people don't realize. What you do in the hour before bed directly affects how hard your kidneys have to work all night long. If your blood is thicker from dehydration, your kidneys have to push harder to filter waste. If inflammation is high, those tiny filters, the nephrons, become stressed. If blood sugar remains elevated into the night, it places extra strain on the kidney's delicate filtering system. And none of this wakes you up with pain. Instead, it shows up slowly, as rising creatinine, declining filtration efficiency, and that feeling of something's just not right that many people can't quite explain. This is why researchers have been paying closer attention to nighttime routines.
Not extreme detoxes.
Not aggressive treatments. But simple habits that reduce strain during sleep, especially for adults over 55. Because when the kidneys are supported at night, they don't have to fight so hard. They can work more efficiently.
More gently.
And over time, that can make a real difference in how well they do their job. And this brings us to a crucial question. What if some of the most common nighttime habits are quietly making your kidneys' job harder, even though they seem harmless? In the next section, we're going to uncover a few bedtime mistakes many well-meaning adults make, mistakes that can contribute to rising creatinine levels without anyone realizing it. And once you see them, you may recognize a habit or two from your own routine. Here's where things get uncomfortable, because many kidney problems don't come from what we do wrong on purpose. They come from habits that feel completely normal. Habits we've repeated for years, especially at night, without ever being told they might be adding strain to our kidneys. Let's start with one of the most common ones. Mistake number 1, avoiding fluids entirely at night. Many adults stop drinking anything after dinner because they're afraid of waking up to use the bathroom. And while that makes sense, it often leads to mild dehydration overnight. When your blood becomes more concentrated, your kidneys have to work harder to filter waste. That thicker blood makes it more difficult to clear creatinine efficiently, especially during sleep, when your body is supposed to be recovering, not compensating. The second mistake is just as common, and even more misleading. Drinking the wrong thing before bed. A glass of sweetened milk. Fruit juice that feels healthy. A flavored drink that seems light. The problem isn't the timing alone, it's what these drinks do inside your body at night. Sugar can raise blood glucose while you sleep, forcing your kidneys to deal with extra metabolic stress. For older adults, especially those with insulin resistance or early diabetes, this nighttime spike quietly adds pressure to already sensitive kidney filters. And then there's the third mistake, one that surprises a lot of people.
Drinking too much, too close to bedtime.
Some people try to make up for low water intake during the day by drinking large amounts at night. That sudden fluid load forces the kidneys into overdrive, disrupts sleep, and increases nighttime urination. Poor sleep, in turn, raises stress hormones, which negatively affects blood pressure and kidney function the next day. It becomes a cycle that feels unrelated, but it's all connected. None of these habits are extreme. None of them feel dangerous. And that's exactly why they're so easy to miss. Over time, these small nightly stresses add up.
The kidneys adapt. They push harder.
Creatinine rises slowly, quietly, year after year. And because nothing feels urgent, nothing changes. But here's the good news. You don't need to overhaul your life to break this pattern.
You don't need harsh cleanses or complicated routines.
Often, the shift begins with choosing the right kind of drink, in the right amount, at the right time before bed. In the next section, we're going to talk about gentle, intentional bedtime drink choices designed specifically to reduce nighttime kidney strain. Choices that work with your body's natural rhythms instead of against them. And once you understand the why behind them, you'll see how small changes at night can lead to meaningful improvements over time. At this point, you might be wondering, so what should I drink before bed? The answer isn't one size fits all. Because not every kidney is under stress for the same reason. Some are fighting inflammation. Some are struggling with hydration. Some are dealing with blood sugar or circulation issues that quietly carry into the night. That's why the most effective bedtime choices are not about trends. They're about listening to what your body needs most. For many adults over 55, the biggest hidden issue is inflammation. It builds slowly from years of stress, processed foods, blood sugar swings, and reduced circulation. When inflammation is high, the kidney's tiny filtering units become irritated and less efficient. This is where a warm, calming drink that gently reduces inflammation can make a difference. Something simple, soothing, and familiar. The kind of drink that signals your body to slow down and repair instead of react. When inflammation eases, filtration becomes less of a struggle, and your kidneys can do their work without being pushed all night long. Others don't realize that their kidneys are working harder simply because the body is slightly dehydrated every night. Not dramatically. Not enough to feel thirsty. Just enough to make the blood a little thicker by morning. In these cases, the goal isn't volume, it's quality hydration. A light, mineral-rich drink that refreshes the body without overwhelming it. The kind that supports circulation, eases fluid balance, and hydrates gently so the kidneys aren't forced into overdrive while you sleep. Then there are people who wake up feeling heavy,
puffy, sluggish.
This often points to fluid retention and inefficient waste removal. For them, supporting natural flow matters more than adding more fluid. Certain herbal choices have been used for generations to gently encourage balance, helping the body release what it no longer needs while resting. Not aggressively.
Not forcefully.
Just enough to make mornings feel lighter and clearer. For others, the challenge runs deeper, chronic inflammation tied to aging and metabolic stress. Over time, this kind of inflammation affects not just the kidneys, but blood vessels, circulation, and cellular repair. In these cases, a warm nighttime drink rich in protective compounds can support the body's natural repair processes during deep sleep. This is when cells are most receptive, when healing signals are strongest, and when small nightly choices can add up to meaningful long-term support. And finally, there's a group that often gets overlooked: adults whose kidneys are quietly strained by blood sugar instability. Even mild elevations at night can damage delicate kidney filters over time. Supporting blood sugar balance before bed isn't just about diabetes, it's about protecting kidney tissue from unnecessary stress while you sleep. Certain plant-based options help the body handle glucose more efficiently overnight, easing the burden on the kidneys and supporting healthier filtration. What all of these choices have in common is this:
they don't force the body. They don't shock the system.
They work with your natural nighttime rhythms. And that's why timing matters just as much as the drink itself. About 30 to 60 minutes before bed is often enough to allow absorption without disrupting sleep.
Not too much. Not too late. Just intentional.
You don't need to try everything at once. In fact, it's better to start with one option that matches your biggest challenge right now. Pay attention to how you feel in the morning.
Lighter. Clearer. More rested.
Those subtle changes are often the first signs that your kidneys are under less strain. In the next part, we'll talk about who benefits most from these bedtime habits, and who should approach them with extra care, so you can make choices that are supportive, safe, and realistic for your stage of life. Before we go any further, there's something important we need to talk about, because responsible health choices aren't just about what can help, but also about understanding what these habits are, and what they are not. These gentle bedtime drink routines are best suited for adults over 55 who are in the early or moderate stages of kidney stress. People who've been told their creatinine is creeping up. Those who feel more tired than they used to, notice mild swelling, or simply want to protect their kidneys as they age. They can also be especially supportive for individuals managing high blood pressure or blood sugar, two of the biggest long-term stressors on kidney health. For these groups, nighttime support works because it reduces strain when the body is most receptive to repair. It's not about fixing everything overnight. It's about making each night a little easier on your kidneys, so over time, they don't have to fight as hard. But it's just as important to be clear about who should slow down and be cautious. If you have advanced kidney disease, are on dialysis, or have been given strict fluid or potassium limits by your doctor, these habits should never replace medical guidance. Certain herbs and fluids, even natural ones, may not be appropriate in those cases. The goal is always to work with your care plan, not around it. The same goes for anyone taking medications that affect fluid balance, blood pressure, or kidney filtration. Small changes can still matter, but they should be discussed with a healthcare provider who knows your full picture. And here's a point that often gets misunderstood. These bedtime choices are not quick fixes. They don't flush your kidneys in a dramatic way.
They don't cure disease.
What they do is far more realistic, and often more powerful over time. They create an environment where your kidneys can function with less resistance.
Less inflammation. Less nightly stress. Think of it like this.
If your kidneys have been walking uphill for years, these habits don't suddenly move the mountain.
They make the slope gentler.
And when the slope is gentler night after night, progress becomes possible. The most encouraging sign isn't a dramatic overnight change. It's subtle improvements.
Better sleep. Less morning heaviness.
More stable energy. And over time, lab numbers that stop climbing, or even begin to move in the right direction. In the final part of this video, I want to step back from the details and talk about something deeper: why caring for your kidneys at night is really an act of long-term self-respect, and how small, quiet choices can protect the body that's carried you through decades of life. By this stage of life, your body has done a lot for you. It's carried you through long workdays, stressful seasons, sleepless nights, responsibilities you didn't always choose but still showed up for. And through it all, your kidneys have quietly done their job, filtering, balancing, protecting you, without ever asking for attention. They don't demand praise. They don't send sharp pain when they're tired.
They just keep going.
And maybe that's why we overlook them. We tend to care for what makes noise,
What hurts?
what interrupts our day. But the organs that work silently, night after night, are often the ones that need the most gentle support as we age. Taking a moment before bed, choosing a drink that supports your body instead of stressing it, isn't about perfection. It's not about fear. It's about respect. Respect for a body that has carried you this far, and deserves to be cared for with intention now.
These small nighttime choices may not feel dramatic.
They don't come with instant results or big promises. But they send a powerful message to your body: I'm paying attention.
I am not ignoring the quiet signals anymore.
And over time, those quiet signals can change. Mornings may feel lighter.
Sleep may feel deeper. Your body may feel more balanced.
And even if the changes come slowly, they're meaningful, because they're built on consistency, not extremes.
So tonight, when the house goes quiet again, remember this.
You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to fix decades in a week. You just need to make one thoughtful choice that supports healing instead of strain. In the final moments, I'll leave you with a simple question. One that helps turn information into action, without pressure, without guilt. Before you move on with your day, I want to leave you with just one simple question. Tonight, when everything slows down, when the lights are dim and the noise of the day finally fades, what will you choose to give your body before sleep?
Not out of fear.
Not because someone told you that you must, but because you understand that healing doesn't always come from big changes. It often begins with small, quiet decisions made consistently. Your kidneys don't ask for dramatic gestures.
They respond to calm, to balance,
to choices that reduce stress instead of adding more. And bedtime is one of the rare moments when your body is truly listening. If this video helped you see nighttime health a little differently, take what feels right for you.
Leave what doesn't.
There's no rush.
No pressure.
Just progress, one evening at a time. And if you know someone, a parent, a partner, a friend, who's quietly dealing with kidney concerns or feeling more tired than they should, sharing this might help them feel less alone. Thank you for spending these minutes with me. Take care of your body tonight. It's been taking care of you for a very long time. And I'll see you in the next video.